How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and welcome to the upcoming news for World of Tanks console Modern Armour. And today we'll be looking at what came out this week, what's coming out next week, and the kind of overall thoughts of Wargaming as to where their development time is going. And we've got quite a lot to actually come through, so hopefully you'll stick around, and of course it will be timestamped so you can flick around the video as to where you want to be going. And let's get right into it. So, to begin with, in this week's update news, obviously we had the Panhard EBR coming out on Tuesday this week, which I've already done a video on, and it was definitely disappointing. Am I saying it is definitely the worst tank in the game? Absolutely not. It isn't the worst, but yeah, it was definitely disappointing. I just don't think that especially if you're playing on the older generation consoles, being the PS4 standard or the Xbox One, you're definitely going to be having a little bit of trouble with the 30 FPS trying to play these like effectively. It's definitely easier on a 60 FPS console like the PS5, or if you can get your hands on the Xbox Series X, etc., you're going to be having a much better time of playing them. But overall, I just don't think that they're particularly that overpowered, and that's something that is positive, but kind of a little bit annoying that they were kind of pretty bad for anyone playing 30 FPS. So hopefully they can kind of sort out the steering. I think that that's kind of the bit that is just not working properly anyway. Analog steering is being worked upon. That's what Wargaming have said. So maybe it will become a little bit easier to drive. I think that they're very, very responsive because they can move so quickly, which doesn't really help on those older consoles. But I think we've done enough on the Panhard EBR. Obviously, we've got the next week we will have the World War II French tech tree line for the wheeled vehicles coming out, which we'll get into in a minute. But we've also had Malinovka temporarily rotated out of map rotation due to a terrain bug, causing vehicles to bounce crazily on the ice. So you're going to not be seeing Malinovka for a couple of days, which is a bit disappointing. We've also then got the February challenge for the Type 59-2 ERNOP. We've got also a couple of other earn operations that you can actually complete as well, which are really, really good. We've also got the Medium Mastery Challenge come out, which is just basically those 4-part series of challenges to prove your mastery of the medium tank classes, so you can earn up to 4 million silver, I think it is, over the course of all of them coming out. Week 1 rewards, you can get Mastery Emblem, Premium, Silver, complete all 4 and get 1 Mastery Medal and Top Secret Keycard, etc. Obviously then we have free XP conversion bonus all this month, so instead of converting 1 gold for 25 XP, you've got 1 gold to 35 XP, which for those of you who are looking to kind of use that for a couple of other things coming out soon, then I guess you'll have to wait and see for the rest of the video. But other than that, we have the tanks reforged for the Chinese mediums. They've gone quite well. Daily battle played went from 200 to 700 a day to 1500 to 2700 a day. So they've pretty much 7 times almost. Yeah, that's not bad, to be honest with you. And these Chinese mediums are definitely a little bit better. They increased by about 1 to 2% win rate, which is nothing substantial, and certainly premiums like the 59 pattern improved the most, but that may just be because the older players that have those tanks might be playing them a little bit more, and hence why the win rate's gone up a little bit. Obviously, we've also got the next week's news to be having a look at. Now, with this next week's news, obviously we have the Panhard AMD 178B, which is the Tier 6 coming out, the new French wheeled light tanks. It then moves on to the Hotchkiss EBR, the Tier 7, then the Panhard AML Lynx 6x6, which is the Tier 8, the Panhard EBR 90, the Tier 9, and then the Tier 10, the Panhard EBR 105, which is certainly a controversial topic if you've ever played World of Tanks PC, and hopefully Wargaming do the similar sort of thing with this brand new premium tank with these French wheeled light tanks, where they just aren't super overpowered as they are on PC, but hopefully they can balance them a little bit more such that they actually are kind of okay to actually play as well, not just completely nerfed into the ground to the point where they're almost pointless playing when you could just play a better light tank in some of the ones we already have in the game. As with this, we also then have the For France Hunter and Destroyer challenge, where you'll be able to earn a load of silver typically when we have the Hunter and Destroyer ones. You can also usually get extra silver for destroying so many enemies. So, for example, if you are in a French tank and you destroy so many tanks within a game, I think it's like 2 tanks in a game, you'll get 1.25 times the silver that you usually would. And then also, if you then destroy French tanks as well, if you destroy 1 French tank or 2 French tanks, I'm not entirely sure, but you would then get the 1.25 times XP. So if you can manage to be in a French tank and destroy French tanks, you're going to be able to then get like 1.5 times silver. So it's really, really good for those of you who are wanting to play French premium tanks in the game. But other than that, not really that much of a difference. And you certainly can fire premium in the French tanks at tier 10 if you really want to. And you'll be able to earn your silver back for the most part. We also then have the anniversary event, and this is the biggest thing for this week, and it certainly is going to be a massive anniversary event for World of Tanks console. It has been 8 years of the game being out, and yeah, it's certainly something that I've been enjoying for probably 7 years so far. I think I got my 7-year badge maybe a couple of months ago, so yeah, it's definitely been ups and downs with this game, but it's on the whole, it's always something that I've come back to, and I guess you can't really quit World of Tanks, at least in my opinion. Everyone always comes back to it at some point. Now, Anniversary Earn Challenge for the Barask is the key thing for this anniversary. And yes, I did just say that. It's the Barask, the French medium tank that plays pretty much like a light tank with those 2-shot autoloader, 360 damage per shot, totaling 720 damage with this amazing, and this is quite possibly one of my favourite tanks within the game. The Barask is just insane, and it's a nerfed version of the PC version, which makes me think that the Barask on PC is just going to be ridiculous if I can ever get my hands on that. But the Barask on console is definitely a very competitive premium tank that you're going to want to have to get your hands on. I expect that you'll basically have to just complete the points tally for this. So this is going to be a good one. And then join this with String Theory, which is the best operation in order to grind through the tech tree lines within the game. You're basically going to be able to get up to 5 times XP with the String Theory operation. And if you haven't already seen String Theory and how it works, essentially what you have is for every win you get in a consecutive row. So for example, you get 3 wins in a row, you will get 3 times XP. If you get 4 wins in a row, you'll get 4 times XP. If you get 5 wins in a row, you'll get 5 times XP. That then stops once you reach the 5 times, and then if you get a 6th win in a row, you'll get 5 times XP. So it kind of like caps out at the maximum being 5 times XP. If you could manage to string 6 or 7 or 8 games in a row, you'll get a consecutive 5 times XPs once you reach 5 wins in a row. For the second game in a row, I don't think you actually you may get double XP, or I think it may start at 3 times XP. But obviously you guys can leave that in the comment section down below. I think it typically starts at 3 times XP, then 4 times, then 5 times. It kind of skips that 2 times XP, but I'm not entirely sure on that, so you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong in that regard. But basically, this will boost you straight through a lot of the tech tree lines, and I've managed in the past to be able to get 20,000 silver a game, especially if you have a times 5 XP booster and you have a really good game within World of Tanks. So make sure that you use this to your advantage, and combine that with the fact that there is a tier 10 double silver week as well. You will be able to just get so much silver, so much XP, and hopefully you'll be able to get to the tanks that you're trying to get to. And of course, if you want to check out tanks that are specifically really good within the game, you can check out a load of my guides on the channel if you want to see certain things. And I'm sure that if you actually type in String Theory, what console, one of my videos will come up about String Theory, and you'll be able to have a look through that. And maybe I'll leave that in the link at the end of the video to have a look at String Theory in specific, so you can double check and fact check what I've just talked about. Obviously, then we have cosmetics at 50% off. So that means, if you want to get yourself some camo, if you want to put emblems on, they'll all be 50% off. That includes the gold value. So now is a really good time if you've got premium tanks that you want to be able to put permanent camo on them. Do it right now. And then select tank skins are 25% off. So not all of them. I don't know why Wargaming don't just do a blanket tank skins 25% off, but I would expect that most of these are pretty much all of the skins are going to be on sale. To be honest with you, I expect it's only like the very recent tank skins that were sold within the game that aren't going to be 25% off. But there you go. And we've also got Premium Commander recruitment at 25% off. It does exclude licensed commanders, so that'll be things like James Braddock, etc. But you'll be able to get those commanders as well within the game for 25% off if you want to spend some of those hard-earned dollars that are probably in your wallet, or maybe if you play World of Tanks console, they're not in your wallet because you've spent them all. Anyway, big booster bundles on sale for limited time. We've got tanks available for free XP as well. These big booster bundles, this is going to be where Wargaming bring out all of the stops, and it's going to be massive. I think you'll probably be seeing the overpowered tanks returning to the store, things like the E25, the SU-130 PM, all of those sort of things, Iron Rain, all of those will be coming out probably as big bundles. Probably save up some of that gold that you've got on your account. I know I've been saving up some of mine from the season pass and from opening those key cards a long time ago last year. So yeah, hopefully they'll be interesting and we'll be able to showcase which bundles are the best for you. As well as that, we also have, like I mentioned before, with the free XP, some free XP events. And these are in the form of the, basically where you can trade in your free XP for a premium tank. And the premium tanks that you can actually trade in, some of them are actually really, really good within the game. You've got things like, for example, coming down this list as to which tanks I actually really enjoy playing. Obviously, the first one being the SU-130 PM. It's one I really, really enjoy. The STA-2 is actually a really good tank, but kind of underrated, I think, in the majority of situations. I think that people don't really realise that it's quite good. The Ariete Progetto, that's quite good as well. You've got things like the Iron Rain, obviously, right here, the broken one that they always put in. You've got things like the T54E2, a good tank as well, the TL1 LPC that I've recently done a video on, which is amazing actually. I thought that this tank wouldn't be as good as it was, but that double pump kind of autoloader makes this thing really, really fun to play. And then you have things like the Aguila Hawk 30, which is really, really good. A very competitive light tank at tier 8, and certainly one that I think people underrate within the game. You've then got things like the Stockade. These are all tanks that are not going to be awful, a lot of them, but certainly the ones I've highlighted are definitely good from my own experience. Obviously, there's some in there that are pretty good as well, like the AMX M4 MLE 49, but that came out on an earn operation recently. So, make of it what you will. Check out online what tanks are actually good within the game. I'd avoid some of them in there, but just make up your own mind. And of course, if you do want any of those, don't let my opinion stop you from buying the tank that you've been wanting for a long time, because at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. Maybe I don't like the tanks that you like to play. Maybe you don't like the tanks I like to play. So there we go. World War II Tier 9 and 10 premiums and tech tree tanks are on sale at 30% off. So this is massive. All of the tier 9 and 10 premiums and tech tree tanks. So if you've got a load of silver or you're wanting to get a load of silver by Tuesday, make sure you're doing that as quickly as possible so you can buy any of those tier 9 and 10 tanks that you've been wanting to get for a long time. 30% off is fantastic, and we're really looking forward to this. And not only that, if you have been saving up that free XP like we've been talking about, maybe you don't want to purchase any of these tier 8 and 9 or 8 and 7 and 6 premium tanks. Maybe you want to purchase a tier 10 premium, because they will all be on sale apparently, unless they're a licensed tank. So things like the Andre the Giant, I don't think that they're allowed to sell again. So yeah, unless it's a licensed tank, I'm pretty sure all of them will be on sale. So make sure that you pick up the premiums that you really do want within the game. And I'm certainly thinking that some of them, Object 279E, I'm looking at you, are really quite worth getting, in my opinion. But there we go. The select Cold War Era 1 and 2 premiums are on sale for quite possibly the first time, I think, ever. And they're on sale at 30% off. You can pick up the T55A, probably wouldn't do that. T95E3 probably wouldn't do that. T62M1, it was okay. T72U, that was a really good tank. M60A1 Rise, avoid that one to be honest. It's just not as good as the T72s. Get the T72M1, good one. And the Object 934, which, yeah, not particularly very good. So the ones you want to look at, T72, T72, T62, M1, you're kind of getting my drift here. Anything that has T62 or 72 in it, they're usually pretty good. Then we have Be My Valentine Emblem Earn Challenge as well. Tune in for next week's stream for an anniversary surprise. So don't know what Wargaming's anniversary surprise is, but given Wargaming's track record of surprises, I'm not particularly enthralled about this. So hopefully it's just like a kind of, I don't know, some sort of gift or reward for everyone that's been playing the game. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it'll be a 8th year kind of reward tank for that's a tier 3 or something. So hopefully it's like that and it's not just some surprise changing content or gameplay, because that never works out very well. But anyway, then we have the fixes next Tuesday as well, which include Hailbron, where they've just basically addressed an issue where wheel vehicle would bounce in certain areas. Really, really fun that is, I guess. Added analog support for steering wheeled vehicles. This allows players to control how much their wheels turn based on how far right/left the thumbstick is pushed. So this is really, really good. Hopefully we will be able to actually get that in the game. I think that this is definitely something that I've been wanting. And then there's addressed an issue with the Panhard EBR 1945 stats resetting after playing more than 10 other vehicles. So yeah, hopefully that won't happen again. Then, of course, other topics. We have the shout out of the week, which goes to Flying X Fijian, who played 211 games in the Panhard, fired 2,858 shots with 2,610 of them auto-aimed, and landed 1977 hits overall. Oh god, that's a lot of auto-aims. I wouldn't recommend it. Maxzilla 1998 has played 145 games in the Panhard, fired 2,562 shots with 181 of them auto-aimed and landed 2,072 hits overall. Yeah, much better. A lot less auto-aimed, a lot more hit. Then we have class-based matchmaking, which has, with the +1 -1 tests and survey results, 900 people responded. Tests showed that RT platoon imbalance is indeed fixed. So yes, this looks like it's going to be a permanent thing, the platoon RT being limited per game, and we wanted to see how often the matchmaker would make a perfect, meaning classes lined up exactly. At peak times, class-based matchmaking made a perfect match between 55 to 60% of the time. We are happy with the outcome as no new glaring issues showed up, and so I'm looking that this will probably become a more permanent thing coming into the game. Still digging through some screenshots and analysing the matchmakers data. Next test for class-based matchmaking coming mid-February will be to test the fix for occasional light tank imbalance. So there we go. That is pretty much the interesting stuff. There's also having fun testing multi-weapon tanks. The BMPs and Bradley are beasts. Still working on these, but so far they're really fun. What do you think about the returning assault game mode to random battles? Why? Oh, I hate Assault. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Gives a little bit extra, but Wargaming's spawns don't tend to be the best on Assault game mode. So yeah, I don't know. But they've basically wanting to know your opinion. So give them what they want, hopefully, and that will be put out in a community survey coming soon. For a second, I thought that they were talking about multi-base assault mode, which was terrible, to say the least, and luckily that's not in the game. But yeah, standard assault, I've not really missed it, but then again, you know, some of you may have, so just let Wargaming know. And they're currently working on World War II PvE mode, and while it's still in early development, it is already fun. Like, what do they mean it's already fun? Well, if it's not fun, then what's the point in making it? Anyway, that's basically the same as kind of tank training as the previous PvE modes that they had in World War II. War Stories, I think it was. Basically, that's what it is. Not going to be War Stories, but it will basically be a similar sort of concept. Questions answered. Will we ever get a mercenary artillery? we may have a design for a mercenary artillery. Oh, God, no. This could be bad. Wargaming using their mercenary knowledge to make artillery. Oh no, here we go. What's the plan to make artillery more balanced? We have something in the work, but nothing to formally share just yet. Can new players get more commanders to help them on board? New players do currently get one commander by playing through initial experience, but we may see about improving this to set them up for success. I wouldn't be that annoyed if they maybe increased the amount of skills that their first commander you could put, and maybe if they just give them a commander with 6 Sense, Brothers in Arms equivalent, and then, you know, rapid loading or something that is just like a traditional setup for a commander, just to get them on board and actually make them use the good perks and skills within the game. I think that would be good. When will we get more Cold War maps? We have a returning map coming back in April of this year, so I'm assuming that that might be the Scorpion Pass map that they've been talking about, or at least, you know, the new version of Scorpion Pass. I don't know if that's actually going to be the map that comes into Cold War. I don't know, but maybe we'll see that. When we see the Chinese tanks in Cold War, these are imminent, or in brackets soon, exclamation mark. So don't know if these are like the next tanks coming into Cold War, or whether they'll be the German tanks, or I don't know, but hopefully we'll be seeing some tanks coming into Cold War to just bulk up the mode. I'm sure many of you now play Cold War, so yeah, that's going to be beneficial for you. Would we be able to buy/sell consumables in bulk? There's no current plans to sell consumables, but it is possible we could add bulk bundles into the store in the future. So yeah, maybe this will be a good thing. I know PC do it. It would definitely help out with saving some silver every single game. Corellia, when later this year, likely in the fall, so looking right at the end of this year. I'm not particularly too fussed on that, to be honest. I love Corellia. Unfortunately, we have to wait all that time to get it back in the game. And then what's going to happen with the communication wheel? Following the community poll, we've decided to adjust it. The center of the wheel will become neutral, so you can back out if you don't want to make a command, and then we will add the following commands to the radio wheel: cover me, need a target, defend this position, and no shot. Probably the most important ones that they removed, actually, within the command wheel. So yeah, luckily that the important ones and the ones that you can actually communicate with the target have come back, or to be coming back into the game. When we see crew customization, so next update in a couple of weeks, custom names for commanders, ability to change voice, transfer/swap skills from one commander to another for silver only. So yes, it will be free to swap skills from one commander to another for silver. So that's really, really good. No gold. Yeah, definitely a benefit. Updates on new clan features. Leaderboards are first. This is being worked on, and we have many plans after that. So leaderboards for clans are coming out. Spectator HUD update. Tank name and gamer tag will always display in Spectator HUD and more. We will try to share the full list of updates to this in the next stream. And there we go. Like, that's pretty much it. This was quite a long one, but hopefully this covered everything that Wargaming talked about and keeps you up to date with the latest World of Tanks console update news. And yeah, let me know what you think about all of the information. Do you like these new wheeled light tanks? Do you think that maybe I just don't like them and maybe I got the wrong end of the stick whilst playing them? Do you like the anniversary event coming up? Do you think that they could have done some other things, made it a little bit more unique? And do you like the look of this Barask anniversary earn challenge for this month? Yeah, looking forward to that, along with the Type 59-2 earn operation as well. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I hope that you'll join me in the next video coming soon. Goodbye.